Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency with any value, full stop. I don't even believe in Ethereum. And I'll explain that very quickly why. It's because Bitcoin has a decentralized management structure, decentralized organization structure, and it's because Bitcoin has a known monetary policy where there'll only be 21 million of them. Every other cryptocurrency, in my opinion, is an unregulated security. It has a CEO, and they have a policy of issuing some number of tokens based upon what the CEO or others say. And as long as that's the case, it's really just like the government. They can dilute their crypto. And so all crypto, in my opinion, is a fraud. Bitcoin is actually an important technological innovation, which is immutable digital scarcity.
Larry Lepard, founder and managing partner at Equity Management Associates, say it's now obvious that the dollar will continue its decades-long spiral of depreciation to the benefit of hard assets like Bitcoin. Larry believes that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency with any value because it has a decentralized management structure and a known monetary policy. He comments that all crypto except Bitcoin is a fraud and Bitcoin is an important technological innovation. In this video, Larry talks about the repeated attacks on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space in general, stating that there is anger against crypto, partly because of Sam Bankman-Fried's fraudulent activities that caused billions of dollars of capital from unsuspecting investors. He criticized the SEC for not taking action earlier, and he believed that they wanted to blow up crypto intentionally. Larry also talked about Operation Choke Point 2.0, which is an alleged government program to choke crypto from its sources of financing in the traditional banking sector. He believed that it's not just alleged, as the government has made a very concerted effort to shut down banks that are helping the crypto industry. Larry mentioned that Barney Frank, who authored Dodd-Frank, was on the board of Signature Bank, which was shut down by the government. He also mentioned Custodian, a company that tried to establish a fully reserved bank that does business and would have a stable coin that would work with Bitcoin, but the Federal Reserve has shut it down. Let us now get into the video for the full coverage. As you watch, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and drop your comments. Enjoy.
Where Warren is coming from and where this choke point thing is coming from is partly out of embarrassment. I mean, Sam Bankman-Fried, basically rug pulled, billions, literally billions of dollars, bigger than Bernie Madoff, right? Billions of dollars of capital from unsuspecting investors who had money in his FTX organization. And where was the SEC when this was going down? I mean, those of us in the crypto industry or in the investment industry focused on Bitcoin, we knew Bankman-Fried was a fraud. We were like that guy who was calling out Madoff, Markopoulos. I mean, we basically knew Bankman-Fried was a fraud. It was so obvious. And yet, Gary Gensler was sitting on his thumbs. And there's some who've even said, as you pointed out pre-show, that maybe it was intentional. They wanted to blow up crypto. But the point is, the horse escaped. And now Washington is embarrassed and they're trying to close the barn door. And that's just wrong. They're not making a distinction between crypto and Bitcoin. And more importantly, the horse has already escaped. So I'm not quite sure where she's coming from. I think she probably pulled it and it'll get her votes. She's a corrupt politician. She's never had a salary of over $250,000 a year, and she has a $60 million net worth. How does that happen? And it's shocking.
Yeah.
The government has made a very concerted effort to try and shut down banks that are helping the crypto industry. In fact, Barney Frank, who was the author of, Dodd-Frank, was on the board of Signature Bank, and Signature Bank was shut down by the government, and it was not in trouble. And the reason they shut it down is because it was doing a lot of business with these crypto companies, and they didn't like that. We've also seen a company called Custodia, run by a woman named Caitlin Long, who's very active on Twitter. It's a company I've invested in, full disclosure, so I believe in her thesis, who is trying to establish a fully reserved bank that does business and would have a stable coin that would work with Bitcoin. And the Federal Reserve has shut her down. And she has basically found out through back channels that has occurred because the major banks in New York, I'm looking at Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan, but I think there are others involved, have gone to Jerome Powell and said, this would not be good for our business. We do not want banks that are focused on Bitcoin in this manner. And so, the Federal Reserve has not granted her the license to build a crypto bank that by law she ought to be entitled to. So, you're seeing the banking lobby and the traditional finance lobby laying the pressure on people in DC to speak out. And there are other representatives and folks in Congress who occasionally came. I can't remember the name of the congressman. One of the congressmen actually got up on the floor and named Custodia Bank as being a rogue bank, which, first of all, it doesn't even exist yet. It's just an idea. And he spoke out about it, which tells you how threatened they are by it. And so yes, the vested interests in the banking world do not want to see crypto survive.
IRA allow you to save for retirement in a tax-advantaged way for greater financial security with lots of tax advantages. But most IRA offer the same boring stocks and bonds. Introducing iTrust Capital, the #1 crypto IRA platform in America. iTrust Capital allows cryptocurrency investors like you to enjoy all the exciting benefits of tax-advantaged retirement accounts. It combines the traditional IRA with the new, exciting world of cryptocurrencies. Why should you use iTrust Capital? It is the best crypto retirement platform in America, with some of the lowest fees of any cryptocurrency IRA platform. It gives investors adequate exposure to some of the top cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, and Polkadot. You can buy and sell all your favorite crypto assets while enjoying amazing tax-free gains. It is adequately secured by Coinbase custody with a $320 million insurance to protect against theft. You can easily roll over an existing retirement account or begin a new one when you register on iTrust Capital. iTrust Capital is the trusted crypto IRA for many American investors who love the crypto industry. To join the millions of Americans who use the platform, please click on the link in the description box below.
I mean, let me just give you another example. This is really, we touched on this earlier when you and I talked. So crypto, Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and it's a store of value and so on and so forth. One of the things that's happened in Bitcoin that some people are aware of and others aren't, but I would encourage people to get involved in it and know about it, is something called the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network allows people to move currency, money, between themselves for less than a penny per transaction. And, right now, MasterCard and Visa are charging, 3% or 300 basis points on every single transaction you make using their cards. This would effectively destroy their businesses. And so you can see that there are very big vested interests that do not want to let cryptocurrency disrupt the existing financial, system.
Larry sees cryptocurrency as a decentralized financial system that poses a significant threat to traditional finance. He believes Bitcoin in particular could be a huge threat to fiat currency, such as the US dollar and potential central bank digital currency. He highlights the Restrict Act that is being considered by Congress to ban the app TikTok, which some claim is a tool of the Chinese Communist Party intelligence. He notes that the language in the bill is vague, and it could be used to ban cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin. He expresses concern that the government could combine the idea of ESG and climate change with the CBDC to further control and monitor transactions. He talks about CBDCs and the threat to Bitcoin. He further highlights his predictions for Bitcoin price. Let us get back into the video.
The people who run the system, they're very, very rich, and they're very, very powerful, and they want to defend the system. And so they are going to use every tool they think they can get away with to try to force all of us to comply. I mean, the CBDC that you alluded to is another, that's a central bank digital currency and we know the Fed has one, and we know they beta tested it. And, and to a degree, they probably, I mean, in a sense, the scandemic was probably a trial run of some other control mechanisms that they want to use on us in the future. So I don't put anything past these people in power, but I actually am rather optimistic. Most Americans aren't going to fall for this shit. I mean, they're going to tell me to use a CBDC, and I'm going to give them the finger. The only ones who are going to accept the CBDC are the people who are desperate for cash, and of course they'll take that because they literally need it to live. But these kinds of acts and things are blatantly un-American, unconstitutional, and not not based on the principles that this country was founded on. But what would you expect from a very, very corrupt, very, very powerful set of rulers and governors who, think that they can get away with this stuff? And so my view is, as you and I were speaking about offline, our job, you're doing a great job of it through your show. I do it on Twitter and other places. Our job is to try and educate as many of our fellow citizens that, hey, this stuff is bullshit. And these people are lying and they're corrupt. And they say the black letter law is this, and then they violate the laws. I mean, Janet Yellen tells us, she flip-flopped 5 times on whether they were going to back all the banks. I mean, this is a woman who got paid $7 million for giving speeches to the banks. I mean, What could she possibly say that's worth $7 million? Nothing. They gave her $7 million as a bribe so that she would go easy on the regulation of the banks. And that's just the way the system works. As you know, as Carlin said, as George Carlin said, it's a big club and we ain't in it. I think the government could slow it down. And the kind of things we're talking about. I mean, I think if they decided to make it a crime for using Bitcoin, they decided to tax it at 90%. If all of the governments of the world in a coordinated fashion decided they really wanted to try and kill this, I don't think they'd kill it, but I think they would severely slow it down. Having said that, I think the war would become much more aggressive because, it would be a signal to people that, well, why are governments doing this? What is it? Why are they so threatened by this thing? If it's not anything that's good, why does it threaten them? And so I can't really foresee a case where Bitcoin doesn't win in the longer run, but I do foresee cases where there are severe bumps as a result of actions that governments can take. There's not going to be any more Bitcoin created. So that's a very powerful thing. And so, there's 7+ billion people on the planet. There are 21 million of these coins. It's a very sound form of money. As more and more people come to see, I should save in this money, the price is going to go, in my opinion, much higher. I mean, I think we'll hit 100,000, then I think we'll hit 1 million, then I think we'll ultimately hit $10 million a coin. I mean, I'm sure my grandkids will be shocked at people who own one whole coin.
Larry points out that Bitcoin has two trends that support its growth. Firstly, there is an adoption curve, with more and more people becoming aware of Bitcoin and using it. Secondly, there is an underlying trend that is driving gold, which is the monetary debasement. He notes that Bitcoin has a growing number of use cases, such as unbanked people using it around the world and poor women in Afghanistan using Bitcoin to receive payment for their work. Regarding the near term, Larry thinks that those in power may find it too problematic to outright ban Bitcoin, but they could manipulate and control the market through derivatives such as a Bitcoin ETF. He believes that Warren Buffett's description of derivatives as financial weapons of mass destruction is applicable here. Overall, he thinks that the future of Bitcoin is decentralized and that big governments peaked in World War II. According to Larry, he believes that intelligent people in the world, and ultimately most people, will realize that fiat currency consistently loses value, and as this trend grows, it will turn to Bitcoin, gold, and property as savings technology. He thinks CBDCs could easily be a parallel system to gold and Bitcoin as savings technology. In other words, if someone were paid in CBDC, they would immediately exchange it for gold or Bitcoin and save it in the hard currency, as per Gresham's law. Larry believes that the only thing standing between us and hyperinflation is everyone coming to the same conclusion that these currencies are doomed. Overall, Larry views Bitcoin as an innovative and valuable asset that will continue to grow in popularity and value, and amidst the attacks from the Fed and other anti-crypto mongers, Bitcoin can only be delayed but can't be destroyed. What is your take regarding the war against cryptocurrencies? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications.